Rockford's home for classic rocks, 96.7 The Eagle. It's Double T on the phone. Special guest coming to Rockford's for some free shows, Mr. Ian Moore. How you doing, Ian?
Doing good. Excited to be up here.
Yeah, so you're up in the Midwest. You're going to be in Rockford on Thursday. You're going to do a acoustic show at Culture Shock at 3, and then later that night, a free show, full band at Mary's Place.
That's correct. Yeah, we're doing a record release. We've got a new EP out called Toronto, and we're going to do some of that stuff acoustically, and then plug in and give everyone some earplugs and wish them luck.
You know, I remember first hearing you back, 1993, your debut album, the song How Does It Feel, and was just blown away how great that was. I remember going down to Austin and actually trying to find you and asking everybody, but of course you were out on tour. But how different is it now from back then?
Oh, well, I mean, you know, it's a classic adage. Everything's different and everything stays the same. You know, I mean, we're in a very, very different time in the way people consume music, and especially generationally, a lot of kids, you know, have a completely different relationship with it now. But I mean, at the same time, you know, for us, I mean, we're still getting in the bus and touring and playing shows. So in many ways, it's the same thing. The mechanisms have all changed, but people still listen to music, and we show up and play it for them and try to take them to someplace new, you know?
You know, you hear that the kids aren't interested in guitar and music like that anymore, but it seems like you guys could still go out and play shows in front of people.
Yeah, and I do think that, you know, hip-hop is obviously really big with kids, and for sure that's a big change, but I think that there's always going to be kids loving guitar, you know? I mean, I think that there are a ton of bands probably coming up, you know, and some of which we know, some of which we don't, that, you know, kids listen to and dig, and I think rock and roll is a lot more powerful than people realize. I don't think it's going anywhere. It's just going to morph and change. You know, just like the Beatles sounded different than Lawrence Welk, you know, the kids are going to sound different than what we did in the 90s or whatever, and what I'm doing now, you know. So we're just, I'm really proud to be part of a lineage, you know. I mean, my roots go so deep in Austin, and a lot of the influences that I have, many of them are not around anymore, so I'm kind of carrying on, in my opinion, a tradition, and I'm just glad to be part of that.
I'm talking to Ian Moore. He's going to be in Rockford Thursday, 3 o'clock, free acoustic show down at Culture Shock, and then Thursday night, a free show, full electric band down at Mary's Place. You talk about, you know, being a part of Austin, but then you decided, well, I'm going to go try somewhere else. What made you decide to go to Seattle?
Well, I was in the epicenter of Austin. I grew up there. My dad was a big architect of the counterculture there, and I went to, you know, high school and college, and then my band got big, and I needed to get out and grow up and turn into a man, because it kind of felt like I was going to be this Peter Pan character where everywhere I went, everyone was like, hey, Ian, you know, and it's cool for a while. People are probably like, why in the world would you leave that? The reason I wanted to leave it is because it's not, I wanted to have a family. I wanted, well, even from a musical thing, I wanted to get better. And I think that there's a real trap when everyone knows your name and everyone loves you to get complacent, and I didn't want to get complacent. I want to push myself to try to do stuff that is cooler than the last thing I did, and that's kind of the way I look at every single thing that I do. Is I'm just trying to make cooler music, play guitar better, do things that are more interesting and cool, and you know, part of that was moving to a place where I didn't know anybody. And then at this point, because I've been up outside of Seattle for quite a while, you know, what it really is I always tell people it's a breathe in for me, because I always breathe out. I'm always downtown. I'm always on the interstate. 13 hours yesterday to get up to Illinois, you know, doing merchandise, signing autographs, talking to people. I love it. I love it. I love it. But I have to be able to walk away from it and recharge. And the best way to do that is to be in a really, really quiet environment where there's trees and animals. I look out and see deer, and I just get ready for the tours, and then I feel fresh and powerful. So that's why I live where I live.
You know, you talk about that travel and driving 13 hours and spending time with fans and promoting the music. It gets hard, and being a musician, it's a hard life, isn't it?
Well, it's actually, I started a nonprofit for in the Seattle area for free healthcare for Seattle musicians because it is a very difficult life. I'm very fortunate to have had the success that I've had that allows people to know me and to have at least a foot in the door where I can go into towns and I have support. A lot of people don't have that, and as you mentioned earlier in the interview, the infrastructures have shifted. I mean, we don't have as many tools at our disposal to get the word out. It's much harder to let people know when you're playing shows. And, touring is hard. It's a difficult lifestyle. It's hard on families. It's hard on the individual. People have health problems. People have addiction problems, and so you got to have a good crew around you. You know, I've actually, now that I've been doing it for so long, I'm starting to tell other people how to do it. And I've been giving speeches, and I just did a keynote in Seattle at the radio station up there, about a 15-minute thing on tools I've learned on how to survive, because it's a beautiful life. I wouldn't change a thing. I'm super grateful to have done it, but it is a very difficult life. And it eats people up. And I've lost a lot of band members to various things, some who have died, drugs and alcohol and even health issues, man. So I've got a good crew of people around me. Everybody's taking care of themselves, and we take care of each other. And I think those things really help teamwork. And then, when you show up in a town, everyone's got different things they're looking for. I'm looking for love. And by love, I don't mean amorous love. I'm building culture. I'm looking to build my family everywhere that I go. I love that people have been seeing me for 30 years. It makes me feel young, if anything. And it makes me want to keep on digging and keep on writing, because I understand that that's my job as part of our culture. So we love it when we come into a town. And my good friend Paul is the guy that put the show together, and he's been a friend of mine now for a long time, and we've had all these adventures together. And whenever we come into Rockford, I feel like I'm from Rockford, and that's what's cool about doing what I do.
Yeah, and it gives people that time away from the troubles of life, and they can come in and spend a couple of hours with you and just jam and feel good and smile.
And hopefully, not to overstate the importance of what we do, because look, if you just want to shake your ass for a couple of hours or even, have a couple of beers or take your lady out or whatever it is, man, that's 100% cool. But what we're aiming for is we're aiming to lift people up and make people feel like they can do something they didn't feel they could do before they walked into the club. We give everything that we have every single night. We try as hard as we possibly can. And we try to be not just musically pure, but just kind of pure in our intention. Like we're not doing anything other than just trying to bond, lift the people up and connect in that way. And so that's the power of music, man. And one of the things that I've been telling people, because I've got fans of all types, I've got, conservative fans, liberal fans, all kinds of stuff. Right. And we live in a time where the country's really polarized, right? There's a lot of not very good dialogue right now.
That's true.
What's really cool about music, because I'm involved in the Grammys. The one thing that Republican and Democratic senators agree on is music. It's the one thing right now. Like there are bills going through Congress right now that they're working on, bipartisan. What else does that happen? So to me, you take that and you say, it doesn't matter, man. It doesn't matter what color your skin is. It doesn't matter, who you go to pray to or not or what or who you believe is right and wrong. It's like the bottom line is that music is a unifier. And when we walk into a room, that's our intention, man. We're trying to bring communion to the crowd. We're trying to lift people up, and we need it. We need it. It's like, I'm super opinionated. I'm super political. For a long time, I was talking about a lot of that stuff on stage, and I realized a little while ago, it's like my role right now is to unify and to bring people together. So that's kind of what I do. I try to bring that energy to the room. And hopefully people end up, like I said, feeling a little bit lifted up and a little bit better. And maybe, if we get people to be, 2% more happy and 2% more driven to do something cool, man, that's a big difference that we made. And that's why we drive 13 hours.
That can change people's lives, though. That little percent can change someone's outlook.
Hey, man, that's what you go for, right? Doesn't mean you have to achieve it. Like I said, if someone just wants to shake their ass at the show, we're happy that your ass is shaking.
I'd do it, but no one wants to see that.
Well, I doubt it, man. Hey, listen, anyone feeling good makes other people feel good. I've been doing this for a long time all over the world, and I can tell you that when you see somebody step out and maybe the crowd's kind of stiff and somebody just starts getting down, at first everyone's like, oh, man, look at that dude or look at that girl, whatever. Typically it'd be a dude.
Right.
A girl, they'd probably be like, But then in a few minutes, all of a sudden everyone's moving a little bit more. It's like a weird little liberation that everyone takes, and it changes. I've had shows where, it was real stiff and everyone, was, trying to kind of find their place. Because when we play a show, it doesn't matter if it's sold out and we're killing it. The group dynamic is still what controls the night, and the feel of the crowd is the deal, and we are just kind of like the ringleaders of the whole thing. So one person will start dancing or singing or something, and then all of a sudden, the whole room loosens up. It's like someone told a great joke. So if you want to shake it, man, I say do it. Get up front and let it go. It's a safe zone, brother.
I like the sound of that. The new EP is out now called Toronto. You'll be featuring it. Free show. You can see him acoustic, Ian Moore, Thursday afternoon at 3 down at Culture Shock, which is a really cool place. I don't know if you're into vinyl, but they've got all kinds of great vinyl and vintage stereos down there.
I'm into vinyl, man. I mean, come on. I've been into vinyl since I was a record collector when I was 6 years old. I've been collecting. Only problem now is that I try to not be into vinyl because otherwise I'd have so much stuff I wouldn't have any place to put it.
I know it collects quickly. And then Thursday night, free show down at Mary's Place. Ian Moore, thank you so much for taking the time. Looking forward to seeing you here in Rockford.
Right on, brother. All right, we'll see you guys.
It's Rockford's home for classic rock, 96.7, The Eagle.